into what he said, and then I have a new set of guests joining me for, an elaborate angle to this matter. Just like I said, it's about the democracy that we are preserving. Take a look. I'll be back.
Legal Directorate.
Administration of oath of the office of the Speaker on Honorable Mr. Mudashiru Obasa as the Speaker of the 10th House of Assembly. He has elected to swear on the Holy Quran. I,
Mudashiru Obasa, solemnly swear that in the service of the state as the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, I will be faithful, bear true allegiance to Lagos State of Nigeria at all times. I will not discriminate on the basis of religion, tribe, cause, status, or practice my form of in practice of any form of partiality in the performance of my official duties. I will always perform my official duties diligently and efficiently. I will not engage or be involved in any activities in conflict, either directly or indirectly, with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. I will, in the performance of my official duties, ensure and expose corruption in any of its traces in and outside the public service. I will not communicate or reveal any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my official duties to any person except as may be required for the due discharge of my official duties as the Speaker. I will always follow the path of justice, honesty, and purpose among all the people of Lagos State, in particular, Nigeria in general, in all I do. Help me, Allah.
Thank you very much, sir. Sorry, sir. Please put your signature here. Congratulations, sir. Sir, please, you have to sign the second one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I still have Comrade Larry Fadansi here with me. Thank you for your thought.
Thanks for
and your
me.
time. We are being joined by Femi Olanipekunle. He's a journalist and, of course, a political analyst. And we are supposed to have Mr. Isiaka Adigunbabatunde Gbadamosi. When he joins us, he will be in. Thank you, Mr. Olanipekunle, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And what do you make of this development at the Center of Excellence, the Lagos State House of Assembly, the drama for the past 49 days that we have been witnessing, and what we saw yesterday, the stepping down or resignation, if you may call it that, of Mojisola Meranda, and the quote-unquote stepping up again of Mudashiru Obasa, in which many persons, few weeks before now, would think the case is, done and dusted because it was a popular majority voice that removed him. But the man came back from his trip and said, you guys don't know what you're saying. The process is faulty, and so he remains the Speaker of the House. The audacity. And last Thursday, he made an entry into the House with a full complement of the security detail, like a Speaker. And yesterday, he reemerged against as the Speaker. Democracy, institutional freedom, political system, all of these things and these words have been coming up. What do you make of the development? Let me ask.
Well, I mean, it's an unfortunate the basement of a branch of government that should be essentially independent. What we've seen over the past 1 month or thereabout is a parliament having outsized influence from outside. And I'm particularly worried because of the actions of non-state actors, those who are not elected. The so-called Governor's Advisory Council, and evidently in the handwriting of the president, who is essentially the political godfather of Lagos. I mean, these are common phenomena in Nigerian politics, and the case of Lagos is particularly, well documented. But I think this is the first time we've seen this kind of a rocking of the boat since the issues between the former Osun State governor and President Bola Tinubu in his, domain in Lagos. I mean, his political launchpad in Lagos. But this merry-go-round in the Lagos House of Assembly, and the changing of speakership from, the baton from one person to the other, with majority of the lawmakers having made a decision and being pressurized, being forced by non-state actors, external forces, to change their mind. Speaks to a parliament that should be in practice independent, that is heavily dependent or being teleguided from outside. And it speaks to the state of our democracy. It speaks to, the state of things within the Nigerian political system. And if you look at it as a neutral, it's a worrying sign. It happens everywhere. But more importantly, as a political, as political watchers, as political students of history, the signs are troubling, and much more drama is expected. The Lagos local government elections will come very soon, and we could see the broader implications of these drama in the 2027 elections in the state. These drama, you see, the governor has little or no influence on what is happening in the state. Mudashiru Obasa's actions, antecedents, and his character are well known to political watchers all over the country. I doubt if there is any state governor in Nigeria that will tolerate the kind of insolence, the kind of arrogance that Mudashiru Obasa has conducted himself with in relating with executives. We are witnesses to some of the comments he's made, but that's on one side. Legislature-executive relationships are most times, acrimonious and sometimes not always stable. But even within the House of Assembly, some of his colleagues, and we should stress that in parliamentary settings within the legislature, the speaker is just a peer. He's not like a lord. He's not like the executive, where the governor is the only one that is elected alongside his deputy, and the others serve at his pleasure, serve as at his mercy. In the legislature, the speaker is holding that post in trust for his colleague. All of them are elected. And so even if his members, if his colleagues are saying, because of his overbearing influence and all whatnot, they've made a decision by the overwhelming majority of that House of Assembly, but then they are forced. And we thought in the past few weeks that this was just like a play, so many innuendos, so many rumors here and there. And I find it particularly shameful that it had to go round this way and come back to Mudashiru Obasa again. I wonder if he has the news of the president. For him, I wonder if he's that more politically important than Aregbesola, that many people even feel was the de facto deputy to President Tinubu in his political empire in Lagos. If both of them could have a fallout, I'm still wondering, and I'm still at a loss as to what is in it for Mudashiru Obasa, that the president, I believe, has to pull out all stops to ensure that he is returned to that office. Like I said, the drama is just beginning. We expect to see more, especially in the build-up to the local government elections in the state. And then we also see how Mudashiru Obasa himself will manage this relationship. So many reasons have been advanced. I find all of them ridiculous. I do not think that a parliament that represents the people, that is perhaps the most important, branch of government should be treated this way. It's a shame. It's a slap on those members of the House of Assembly in Lagos State, and indeed the people of Lagos. And it speaks to what has been a template in Lagos. But my worry is we risk elevating. This is happening in the president's home state, and this is how they've run their affairs in that state. Then don't be surprised when it's elevated to the national level, infused into statecraft.
All right. Before I come to Comrade here, still with you, one will say whatever the political watchers, the neutrals, the way you have said it, are seeing at this time, and which is making them to be very concerned about the development, to say, is this the kind of democracy we are running? One will say for all of them there, at least for those of the APC, that all of them are product of the same system that maybe one or two of them might be kicking against now, that they are being forced or coerced into, turning their decision. Almost everyone, they said as of Assembly, they are product of the same political big guys, the same political system, the GACs of this world. There is a language that is used in that place, in Yoruba language, it's called Babasokwe. The elder has said in that kind of place. So if actually the same people produced these legislators, so saying, and the same political system is telling them to change their decision, in as much who dictate the piper, who pays the piper rather, they will dictate the tune. Why are the rest of us, quote unquote, the rest of us concerned? It is the people that run these affairs. They have chosen another path, and we learn from the grapevine that maybe this is just one episode out of this series. There might be further development. So are you surprised that the same political system is running the show as we are currently seeing?
Yeah, like I said, this is how they've done their things, and this is perhaps one of the few instances where you see open rebellion, sort of, maybe I should not call it rebellion yet, like an open dissent from within the Lagos political family. Everyone, sort of follows instruction. There are grumblings, there are, murmurings, but then it doesn't really come out in the open like this all of the time, like we have in many other states. So this is how they've been, but it's the fact that that's how they've been doing their things in Lagos doesn't make it right. These people represent the people. It's shameful. And so that means that even in matters that affect the people, in interest of the people, someone somewhere, we lay down a marker, we lay down a rule. So perhaps what the issue is here is that some powers that be were not carried along in the impeachment of the speaker. If the members of the House of Assembly, I agree that they were nominated through the same process. It was a Babasokwe sort of, politics that they do in Lagos, but that doesn't make it right. And I think also that the president should be more circumspect. No empire lasts forever. No political, empire like his, no political leadership lasts forever. There was a time where Lateef Jakonde, was the governor of Lagos State and had considerable influence. Baba Kekere was a very strong member of the Awo political family and had so much influence, an outsized influence in Lagos until that time when he fell out of reckoning because he took, political appointment from the military. But there was a time where he was the Lord of the Manor in Lagos State. That time has moved. The signs are here. If you read how empires get shaken, how empires get disintegrated, when you have issues like this, and I wonder why, in my own opinion, I may be wrong, the president I feel is not more circumspect. There was a time in that same Lagos State that because of some sort of an open rebellion, the president wanted to run for a Senate seat in Lagos. And some of his followers, some of his associates, had issues. He stepped down. That was what brought in, Ganiyu Solomon as a senator at that time. If he had that wisdom at that time to know when to step back, if he had the wisdom where the time they, perceived issues he had with Fashola at some point that, rumors that time had it that he didn't want him to go for a second time. If he had the wisdom to step back at that time, I wonder what happened to that wisdom, what happened to that political wisdom this time, and what Obasa has on him, and perhaps other political actors in Lagos, the non-state actors especially, that have made them all to, you know, pull out all the stops to ensure that it comes back to office. I'm sure you know that some of those members of the House of Assembly, majority of them, you saw Desmond Elliott, you know, crying yesterday on the floor of the Assembly. And I'm sure there are many other people who are disenchanted. And we, like I said, we wait to see how this manifests, especially in local government election. This is also about, you know, governorship ambition and governorship whatever in 2027. But the first manifestation of this crisis, I predict, will be when the schemings and whoever becomes the local government chairman in all of the local government and LCDs in Lagos come in the next few months.
All right. I learned we have been joined by Mr. Isiaka Adigumba Batunde Gbadamosi. If you can hear me, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me, Femi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for, you know, staying with us in spite of the technological troubles. But, you know, quick one. Same question I've asked my guest, the distinguished guest this morning. What do you make of the situation? You are a politician, of course. Firstly, you're a Nigerian, and that counts for something. Your patriotism lies with the country. Then you're a politician, and then you're an analyst. In all of these, one would say what politicians cannot influence, what they cannot create, what they cannot affect has not been created. That is just politicians doing what they do. Either the state is considered, either the political system is considered. Politicians just want to have their way. And this is more like tinkering with the institution of the state and not allowing them to have the freedom that they should have. Do you agree that it's you politicians that are causing these issues?
It's you politicians. That's very interesting. Okay, let me start by saying good morning to our listeners and viewers. The first thing is that what is happening, or what has happened in Lagos State so far, for me has been a very terrible drama. It has been a disservice to democracy. It has been a ridiculing of our institutions, a ridiculing of the Constitution. I mean, if you have an institution like the State House of Assembly, which is the second arm of government in the state, being treated the way it has been treated, being made to operate as if it doesn't have any form of opinion of its own. I mean, this is an institution that is recognized by the Nigerian Constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And for such an institution to have been treated the way it has been treated in Lagos State, for me, it's a big blow to democracy. And it's also a kind of a dent for me. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, somebody that I personally look at with a lot of respect, and considering the fact that he was in the trenches during the pro-democracy fight, he was in the trenches during the Nadeko days, he also was a senator, he had been in the system, he has made governors, he had made senators and all of that. And for under his watch, for such a thing to have happened in Lagos State, for me, it's most unfortunate. And I think it's something we should not encourage. It's something that we have not seen the last of this, because it says so much to the extent of how our institution can get to work properly. And to the extent that we have seen, it tells me that we still have a very, very long way to go in terms of the functionality of our democracy.
All right, I'll come back to you. Let me come back to your comrade here in the studio. Kindly hang in there, Femi and Mr. Gbadamosi. We learn, I think it's in the public space, that maybe Obasa being restated is not the final decision. There might be resignations and there might be emergence of new speaker, you know, to satisfy the political spread in Lagos. But then, you know, we talk about is basic, the judiciary, the executive, the legislature, everybody doing what they have to do. But when it appears like there are unseen hands, very loud but not visible hands, who dictate who gets what, who does what, in a way that makes it look like the rest of us, when I mean us, Nigerians and the electorate, these people who elected these, you know, constituency representatives, Like they don't have a choice. Whatever you have done, there are people who says what and who determines who gets what. Now, if the development produces another speaker, another person right now, so why should anybody care about voting the next time?
Thank you. You see, there are things politicians do, and at some point, I laugh. What was mentioned here now as part of the political reasons why Meranda could not vote for as the speaker was the fact that she's from the same geographical capture with the governor.
Yeah.
Good. However, on the ground, we know that there is a subterfuge that the people are trying to push a Seyi Tinubu candidacy in Lagos. And
Seyi is not a member of the House.
No, you don't get what I'm saying. Right. We are talking about the House now. We are talking about the core politics of Lagos. Okay. If indeed the House had the powers to do anything, what they had done would have held sway. Okay. But it did not. So these external factors, and let's be sincere about the Lagos issue, very sincere and factual about it. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the presidential election did not win Lagos. That means popular in the streets of Lagos, it is like you are losing certain things. Now you are throwing away your members in the House, throwing them under the bus in the name of political settlement. That is telling a lot of things about, look, do you get the drift? Yeah. So some of these things should, at the end of the day, if they now want to use the same thing they use for Meranda, is it possible to say the president is from the constituency, the same household as the governor of Lagos? Will that now hold sway and say it's normal? Will it be normal at that time? Do you get the drift? That some things, questions will still be asked at some point. Hello, do you want to remove the fact that we were told that Obasa kept the GAC, the governor, and a host of others and the members of the assembly for hours for the budget presentation without apologies even when it came late? So we should forget that happened. We were told when he came back, he was initially having problems saying, Mr. President, the EFCC was told by the House under Meranda that they should go ahead and investigate all these allegations they made. Right. And that somebody somewhere impressed it on the EFCC to pipe down and allow them to take their political solution to the matter. You know, highly placed the person and close to the government. Right. So all of this is telling us what the damage we are doing to our democracy. And I still repeat it, and I'm happy the lawyer was with us, and I think he might still be with us, that the bench and the bar, what is happening, gradually we are cutting the democracy that we have into pieces. We are living in a country where we worked on the associations and all that looked like streetwise. The NURTW conducts elections now. You understand? But now the political class are taking local councils by force. You get the difference now. Are we deepening the democracy we say we have? What stops us saying, okay, if we are not clear about a court judgment and ambiguity, let's ask courts to clarify. Good. The Fubara issue, the Supreme Court was very clear about all these things, gave directives on 1, 2, 3, 4, you understand? So let's see who will say no. But when you are now speaking, you say in technicalities and all, we have seen that happen severally on that. So what I'm saying is that the bench and bar owe Nigerians a duty of trust.
What will you have them do in this matter?
In the entire
Lagos House of Assembly have lawyers.
Let me tell you.
If I may, the Lagos House of Assembly has lawyers, as our members, and all of these things is an independent arm that's supposed to handle its business. And it appears like they are being remotely controlled from somewhere. That is the grounds of many Nigerians.
Is the danger to our democracy that I'm talking about. It's the danger to our democracy. That remote control, we were criticizing that it should stop, but some people are saying it is our way of life.
But some will say the same remote control, quote unquote, produced them. That when it's good for you, it's fine. When the decision is against you now, you are crying. Why should you cry?
It will always be wrong.
The House was crying yesterday.
Hello, sir.
The same political system produced you.
It will always be wrong. Because it produced me as a political person does not make it right if it's the wrong thing. Do you get?
All right.
It was wrong then. It will be wrong now. It will be wrong tomorrow.
All right.
So those are the wrong steps that had been taken that were not right. And gradually we are making it look like our political system that we are trying to grow is a coven. Like we are cultists. And so you must belong in to be able to ventilate or say something
thank
about
you.
what you want.
Let me go to Mr. Gbadamosi. One will say whatever we are seeing right now, that, Femi said it earlier, my other guest on the virtual platform said, that's the way Lagos has always handled their business. And if actually they have moved this way now, whoever is pleased or whoever is not pleased should know that the political bigwigs, the GSs of this world, the political system, they always have their decision. Everybody should fall in line. And if that's the way they handle their business, how should the rest of us be concerned? Mr. Gbadamosi.
Well, if that's the way they handle their business, the way they handle their business is a subversion of the Nigerian Constitution. You have a Nigerian Constitution that has empowered the State House of Assembly as the second arm of government in every state. No individual, no group, no any kind of body can stand up and subvert the powers of that house. And what we have seen is what has transpired in terms of forcing the house to get a
All right, we'll try and reconnect with Mr. Gbadamosi. Femi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, but you said something, almost the same thing I was asking, that Lagos has always conducted their affairs like that. But you raised the concern the other time to say you fear that this might be, upgraded, if I may use that word, to the national level, and we will now have something that happens in Lagos replicated at the national level. One would say, are we not having that already? Maybe not on this scale. And, I asked Mr. Comrade Father said the other time, next time it's election time and all of those things, why should anybody bother? Because, whatever you have done is just to get these people into power. You don't have a say afterwards. There are persons who handle this business and the rest of us can back off.
Well, I mean, to be clear, politicking is done everywhere in the world. I mean, there is horse trading, wheeling and dealing everywhere, every political system in the world. What we found out here is, like the previous guest said, a subversion of rules, of processes, of democracy. And the shameful way with which this is carried out, it makes it even more nauseating, the fact that the grounds is that some sort of people are not carried along. Granted that this is how they do their politics, the fact that they do it that way in Lagos does not make it right. The fact that the people have not been able to break free from such very ridiculous arrangement doesn't make it right. That arm of government is a critical one. It should be independent. If the people in that house have made a decision, and the majority of them also, I mean, you're not having a situation where, say in a 40-member House of Assembly, you have 20 and 19, 21, split votes over the speaker. You have a majority, about 36 of them voting and saying, we're no longer comfortable with this speaker. And then we saw different interventions, and then you saw him invading the House of Assembly with, policemen and DSS officials, and holding a sit-in with 4 members of the House. It's a subversion of the system. It's a destruction, a gradual destruction of institutions. What makes countries work is the fact that there is rule of law, processes are followed, and institutions are strong. We can't build institutions if we subvert the will of the people at will like this. It doesn't inspire confidence in the people.
Sorry, Femi, allow me to butt in here. We understand we must go, but I'll take this as your parting shot. The president, President Bola Tinubu, has prided himself severally years. In fact, I said it verbally, that is the biggest Democrat alive. And this is happening in his home state. 30 seconds. What would you have him do? He has been quiet. People have been pointing accusing fingers at him, but the man has not said anything.
And you know how the mafia works. It doesn't need to see anything. But I mean, that is democratic credentials I don't want to question it. With the way Lagos has been run all this while, like I said, political godfatherism is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. But this particular one is a sad commentary on how that system has been. It's despicable. It's you know, an erosion of trust in the process, and you know, it could lead to the destruction of the institution. It won't augur well, and I'm sure that there will be more drama in the weeks and months ahead.
Right, I understand Mr. Gbadamosi has rejoined us. I'll take your part in short. Where do we go from here, Mr. Gbadamosi?
Okay, well, I would say that the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, so somebody I respect so much, I think he has a duty to right this wrong. Yes, I know not a pin drops in Lagos state politics without his knowledge, but I think it's time he start allowing the institutions of government, the institutions as recognized by the law, to function the way they ought to function. Democracy must be seen to function properly without interference. Yes, I understand there is the aspect of political godfatherism all over the place. Yes, but that can only play before you have elected people into office. When people are elected into office, there is a level to which you can be breathed over their necks, and you cannot continue to push this kind of frontier like we have seen in Lagos.
Thank you very much. I'll take your part in short. Many of our speakers have said it. Do you see these just like the beginning, or you think maybe we have reached where we are going in this development?
In this development,
many things will stay happy.
In this development, I would advise the leadership of the party and the president especially to tread with caution in this matter.
Caution?
Yes, caution.
All right.
Because it has the look of Shaworede, that's popular Yoruba phrase, that some people will be fanning embers of crisis, and then those institutions you think you have actually had a grapple hold on might turn against you. It's the reason why the president should be cautious about.
Thank you very much, Comrade Larry Fadausi, Femi Olanipepu, and of course Mr. Isiaka Adigun Babatunde Gbadamosi. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and care.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. This will be the size of the program this morning. It's been an elaborate one, and it shows how we should tread. Comrade said, caution, caution, caution. Femi Ojo is my name, and I'm cautiously telling you, that you can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV and other exciting programs as well. I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Do have for yourself a very prosperous day, but very importantly, be alive. God bless Nigeria.